How to add gathering to fabric. I'm now going to show you how to gather fabric up on an ordinary sewing machine. In dressmaking, when we add gathers to fabric, we also call this adding ease. To add ease, you're going to stitch a line across the fabric and you're then going to gather up the fabric. But before you do this, you need to change the settings on your sewing machine so that when you do stitch the line, it is loose and the fabric can move along the threads. To do this, you first of all need to change your tension setting and turn it down so it is just between 1 and 0. You then need to lengthen your stitch length so it is long with a setting of between 4 to 5. All sewing machines are different, so you may need to experiment with yours to get the correct setting. Then what you're going to do is you're going to stitch along the edge of the fabric, leaving a gap of about 0.5 centimetres between the edge of the fabric and your stitching. The reason for this is that you need to be stitching within the seam allowance area so that when you attach your fabric to the garments, you will not see the ease stitching. So take hold of your fabric now, ready to sew. And before you start sewing, pull out the threads on the sewing machine so they come out at least 10 to 15 centimetres. Then stitch all the way along the length of the fabric. Once you have done that, take out the fabric and pull the threads out on the machine so they are at least 10 to 15 centimetres before trimming them. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pull one of the bottom threads on the fabric so it ruches up. To stop the thread being pulled right through when you do this, go to one side of the fabric strip and knot the two threads together. Then go to the other end of the fabric strip, take hold of that bottom thread, simply pull it very gently and then move the fabric along it. As you do this, the fabric will ruche up. You can then put more and more gathers into the fabric by pulling the thread and moving the fabric across the thread. You can also take out any of the gathers if you need to by loosening the thread and pulling the fabric back up it. Before attaching your fabric strip to a garment, just make sure that all the gathers are evenly distributed. If you are having trouble putting the gathers in, that they won't stay, or that the stitching is too tight so you can't move the fabric, you will need to experiment with the stitch length and the tension on your machine to make sure that you get it right. For more top tips on how to sew, see the rest of my videos. I'm Collette Costello.